Good, very good. All right.
Oh, no, wait, I stand corrected. We have a warlock in the party. This could get interesting.
And a thaumaturge.
Yeah, if I equip my staff, I could counterattack with a spell if I wanted.
We're too busy getting murdered.
That's right. Right now,
true,
there's just defensive positions.
Yeah, not in this case. In this case, you're doing pretty well for yourself. No damage goes through on Gaston either. And I think that wraps it up for my squirrel boys, which means it's back to y'all.
Did you get hit, Gaston?
No, not at all.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because of the shields. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you guys are pretty tough.
I got an extra D8 as well. I forgot about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, screw these jerks. I'm gonna kill somebody. All right. Let's see. Well, you're in for. I'm gonna go ahead and move. You are in for a rude surprise because normally you can't fly and attack, but I have flying fighter, which means I can fly and attack.
Ooh, good choice. I need
so
that.
Somebody's about to get stabbed.
Mhm.
Because I'm going to go ahead and stab this squirrel with a short sword.
All right, he's going to choose to
his
parry.
His usual only defense against this is to dodge, which would be his speed and his dodge.
Correct. Now, these guys do have swords as well, however, currently, right? So
they're not out.
Parry with it.
He's got a bow out.
You also have a 7-meter dash?
Yes, I can fly, and I'm really good at it.
Flying does make you faster in most cases.
Oddly enough, the flying dash doesn't, but still.
Okay.
Well, no, when you're flying, your stride goes up, and when you dash, you stride and dash.
Oh, yes, you're right. So yeah, that's exactly right.
Yep. So somebody just got stabbed.
Oh, wow. Stabbed well.
Yes. Okay. Now I have bad news, but good news. The bad news is my weapon is impaling. So if you don't retreat, you'll take double damage. But you're a squirrel, so you've got more tree. So I'm assuming you've got more tree to retreat into.
I'm going to say yes. If it was any other species, I would have... Yep. They'd probably be knocked down.
So
but I think in this
back
case,
him away 1 meter. He's got to back away from me 1 meter, and you'll only take 3 points of damage.
Only the 3, which is still considerable. That makes him hurt, afraid, reeling, and injured, correct?
Well, no, you then get to soak. You always get to soak. Which is your body die...
I look
any
like
any armor dice that you have.
All
and
right.
if you have and if you guys have resolve, you get more dice on top of that. I don't know if you do or not.
These guys do not. They're going to have 3d6 of soak. It's a 2d6 plus a d6 of leather. They're not super... and it's 1 success, so they soak 1 point of the damage.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you do have resolve. Because it's your body die, which is a d6, and your armor dice, which is a d6. That's 2d6. Where's the third die from?
Oh, then I must have resolve. These guys...
And you have resolve. That's fine.
Gotcha,
a lot of fighting classes do. So I stab you for 3, you soak 1, 2 points. 2 points is hurt and afraid. And reeling, because any hit sends you reeling. So stab. So a non-mortal wound.
Okay.
Non-mortal crazed bat.
Let's see.
Because it's rare in the... you have to have the gift of flying fighter to be able to fight while flying. And I do!
That is excellent.
Bad day to be a squirrel. That's my turn.
All right. That's afraid. What would be a good for hurt? Use that for injured. I think I'm going to use...
Usually I use orange for hurt and red for injured.
All right. Well, I'm going to do that for now. Okay.
Yeah, I think Arcoid has a handy chart you can pop into chat at some point.
I'll have to find it.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay.
I'll have to relearn it.
For my turn, I would like to be rallied after this if possible, but guarding and running up this tree here. I have a run of 18 and fast climber. Climbing is body speed and climbing. So let me just type that in.
Yeah, and it's not the run is a stunt for you, but the climbing is not because of fast climber.
Yes.
And you're a red panda, right?
Raccoon. Just a red raccoon.
Okay, so you should be able to fight in trees too.
Well, those 2 6s are good for me.
And
running up that tree there. I have a run of 18. That's enough space to get me there.
All right, no problem. So I guess
Reeling is purple.
reeling using purple. Cool.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. Connor, you scamper up the tree effectively. The squirrel looks a little bit surprised as he fumbles to draw his sword, but he will do that on his turn. And I think we're still waiting on Gaston and Elrich.
That's right. I will go ahead and do a similar move. I will go ahead and take flight.
Right.
I believe a sprint is not something that will send me reeling, correct?
Correct. Unless you, I mean, I guess if you hit something, it's bad.
Yeah, so you have to
Right.
declare direction and then roll.
Yes. Well, I am in fact going to try to approach this person, which is 11 away. I am taking flight, but I will probably not be able to attack this turn. I will be going 9, and then I believe I can also stride afterwards.
Correct.
So I will end up flying behind them, and I will opt to land on the tree,
Oh.
if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, and because I landed and I don't have to worry about refreshing flight or continuing to fly, I'll take the chance to stab them, which puts me in a much worse position than the bat does, but I do get to stab them.
Well, hey. You've obviously played a flyer before, I can tell.
I am very familiar with the flying rules at this point.
Yeah, it's the confidence with which you use the flight rules that stands out to me, as someone who played a flyer briefly and was confused the entire time.
It is a lot of text. However, here is my attack.
All right, here comes my dodge of a d8.
Right, so they
Ooh.
need to get a 6. Oh, they don't, and that is going to be 3 damage impaling. So they can, similarly to last time, choose to retreat or not.
All right, and this happens before the soak roll, the retreat?
That is correct.
All right, they are going to retreat. Just step back. And the other part of this that I always forget, as the attacker, you can press the attack if you want to?
If I want to, but I think that'll be off the tree, won't it?
I'm going to say at
it's
this
into his
point,
previous position, so maybe it's not.
yeah, I'm going to say you guys are all in trees at this point.
Okay.
I think I soaked 1 point of that damage, so the total was 3.
Yes, it was 3, so you've reduced it by 1, so he's taken 2 points of damage.
All right, so he's in the same boat as this other squirrel, reeling, afraid, and hurt.
Just hope he doesn't shove me off because I don't have flight active anymore.
I like to hear somebody else saying it in the weird order, too. I mean,
Yeah.
technically the order is reeling, hurt, and afraid, but I know everybody says afraid before hurt for some reason.
Huh. Yeah, it just feels like a matter of degrees, you know?
And that
But,
leaves you,
okay.
Frida.
Yeah, well, I already know that Connor's gambling on me rolling a good rally, so... You can do it, sir. I believe
Well,
in you.
Even
We
if you
all
don't, I
believe
still
in
have
you.
that- Oh, I hope you do.
Let's see. Hey!
So I go straight from reeling to focus.
No, I don't have that. You just
Okay,
no longer
You're just
are
not
reeling.
reeling.
good to know.
And, I don't believe that what's the range on... How far away?
Oh,
Just past short. Damn. Wait, short
So
is 12 or
what is
short
it?
is 10?
12. He's
Short
within
is 12.
Okay, for some
And
reason
this
I was
one's
thinking
12.
10. The guy in front of Connor. I am going to reach out. Shoot! I didn't pull out my wand. I'll just load up repudiation in my hand, and that's it. I'm done.
Okay, all right. So my squirrels now are panicked over here, and they're going to try to make a break for it, I think. Well, first they're recovering from reeling,
And then they make a break for it,
and then they make a break for it.
which is usually their full run distance of about 20.
Yeah. These guys, it's a little bit less... oh, but you know what? They are cowards, so it's a little bit more.
So then it goes up by another 8, so it's at the 28.
Yeah. The stat
Yeah,
block
so
I
they're
have
wrong.
here says 27. That's close enough.
27? Okay, 27 it is.
I mean, one of them didn't even have to recover, so
Yeah.
one of them's just good to go.
Yep. So these guys basically are going to they see that they have obviously underestimated you, and they're going to turn shouting quick commands at one another to fall back, and then they're going to disappear into the forest, leaving you all.
Yeah, we could run after them, but I don't think we're going.
They also are taking off in several different directions, so you could chase them, but you'd have to split up to chase all of them.
It's like they know what they're doing.
Leaving you in the eerie stillness of the haunted forest alone.
I'll flutter back down.
You're a thaumaturge, right?
That's right.
Okay, so can you do anything with squirrel blood?
Maybe next year.
You didn't bother learning the locate spell.
Oh, I'm trying. More pressing matters, like being able to stab people.
I'll clean my blade.
I clean mine as well after fluttering back down. Father, you're all right, aren't you?
So long as you are all right, my children, I am fine.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
It was hilarious. So they got Arkloyd caught. They all shot him, and all it did was make him mad. They just ran up a tree to go beat the crap out of him.
Yep. And then they bailed.
Right, because it was like, oh, we wanted easy prey. Apparently, you are. Apparently,
highly agile.
All of you are ready for war, except the weirdo unicorn.
Hey, chilling.
But no. Well, that's why you run. So
just a observation.
Yes.
Road map right east. That goes from Triskellion to here, or does that go to Mage, whatever the name is, to here? Right.
So this direction is Three Corners Fort and Triskellion, which will say TR. This is heading towards Mage Cross. We're going to say MC. And this, we don't actually know where this goes.
Right.
Up into
Sorry,
a
I
squirrel
just
ambush.
wanted to reconfirm because the placement of the wagon denotes where traffic was trying to be redirected to. So if it was Mage Cross, if Mage Cross was in the direction that the arrow say Triskellion is in, that means they're trying to prevent people from leaving Mage Cross. Otherwise,
but it's also a static map thing, so we can't flip it either.
No, I'm saying that the way that it currently is that. Well, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That anybody from Triskellion is being redirected here to the ambush, and not the other way around. It's how you interpret the ambush, right? If they're trying to prevent people from leaving Mage Cross to ambush them, then that could mean something about Mage Cross. But that's not the way it is, so it doesn't matter.
If I understand correctly, the carriage looks like it was hit by an incredibly strong force, correct?
It looks like it was torn apart, kind of. But
torn apart.
Right,
based on your investigation,
the way that it's laying here, though, it's obviously a redirect.
Well, maybe if the force that hit it was so strong that it moved it into that position. But more importantly, it looks like it was hit by a strong force, but it's not scorched or burned, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, which means either great strength or magic did this. Not a gunpowder explosion.
No, not gunpowder explosion.
That's what worries me, because there's rumor that these woods are filled with monsters. Or wizards powerful enough to blow up entire carriages.
Well, so far we do have bandits and a missing noble, and if we find either his half-consumed corpse or him captured for ransom, then that would answer the question. That said, our bandits just escaped in every possible direction. Following them is a poor choice, however, we could still see what's at the end of this road.
Well, it's like they knew the area, but do you think those bandits are related to the ones that sacked the carriage? I don't think so.
I mean, it does occur to me that one of you is rather good at tracking and a flyer, so probably could outdistance them.
Yeah, but they're squirrels. Well, first of all, they've booby-trapped the woods. Second of all, they're squirrels, which means they're native to the forest. And if they're locals to the forest, they'll also have local knowledge, which gives them another bonus die.
Assuredly, I would never propose that you put yourself in danger. I am saying that they probably did not trap the air above the forest.
No, but I have to descend. If I'm going to track them, I have to descend low enough to examine the trees.
Right, and it's a very dense canopy, too. You can't quite get above them anyway.
Fair enough.
Well,
I am not myself a tracker. I did not know these things.
Well, I could get above the canopy, but they wouldn't be able to see anything.
Exactly.
So I would have to be at bow height. Plus, also, they could run off and go hide and just wait for me to show up and then snipe me, which is what they did when we got here.
Right, another ambush where we're even more vulnerable.
So this is my best shirt, and they put a hole in it.
So I will say that I think just being ambushed at all by these squirrels is evidence enough, and if we go to the village, perhaps people will have answers.
I think we should be vigilant. I've decided I'm going to stand behind Connor.
Smart.
A safe place to be.
Did you
Connor,
take bodyguard?
What was that, Raph?
I said, did you take bodyguard?
No.
Oh, well, I can still claim cover from you.
Yes.
So what is your word, my lord?
I say we go to Mage Crossing. There's nothing left for us here that we can do anything about.
Agreed. Let's go to Mage Cross. We'll get answers.
There might be a noble with a believable ransom.
All right, so the party continues on to Mage Cross. At this point, I would say I consider that the end of chapter 1. I believe in the book, at this point, everybody can take an experience point if they'd like. If they like, I guess that's how it's supposed to be done, right?
To clarify, chapters, I know this came up later because modern books have like 2-page chapters. A chapter should be like the end of the whole adventure. It shouldn't be that casual.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that was something that I was always curious about in terms of the XP doling.
When we're old people with gray hair, we remember chapters being 50 pages long. We like, in other words, and that's the end of that chapter. When you close the book on a story, that's when you do that. This is too trivial for that.
All right. So this is more of just like a scene. Any case, it would be a good place to take a break if anyone needed a break. I'm good to go, though, if you guys want to press on.
I'm ready.
Good to go.
Yeah, let's go.
Excellent. Then let's move on. Actually, let me quickly just upload this image for Anushka's token.
I'm sorry, I was doing it already.
Yeah.
Trying to save you.
Oh, you were getting it done?
Yeah,
that's a good point to get a break. I'm going to get some water, but continue.
Okay, cool.
In that case, I'll be right back. I'm going to go look at my groceries and put some away.
Okay, all right. Then I'll just get things set up here. When everyone comes back, we will proceed.
Yeah, I guess I get a drink too, since literally I'm the only one still hanging around. It's not the GM.
There you go. Drinks for everyone.
Has everyone else got up and got some water?
Yeah.
At least we
You're
got the toast
trendsetter.
working. That's the important part.
Yeah, there it is. Oh.
But yeah, the flight rules are very complicated for sure. But I've gone over them before. I have notes for them. I had the page open too, just to be sure. And neither I or Raph like bogged you down with like the precise mechanics of what's happening. But like,
Yeah.
So we have the flight gift. you tap flight, and then you get a free flying action. And then, ideally, you use one of your 2 actions per turn to refresh flight so that you don't have to worry about falling.
Correct. Yeah.
And then you have 1 last action to do that turn.
Right.
Yeah,
And then you get extras when you have the flying fighter.
Mhm.
Gift.
When you're a flying
But
fighter,
because you
you
have
get
flying fighter, you have the free refresh, so you have 2 full
Mhm.
actions.
I mean, these were weird things that were important to us. You can the rule of the game is you on your turn, you take 2 actions as long as they're different. So you can't dash and dash, or you can't attack and attack, but you could dash and attack.
Yeah.
Simple rule. Then the game gets complicated because you get gifts that give extras. For example, aiming on the draw says that whenever you load a bow, you can also get an aim action for free. So you can load, aim, shoot, which is the death archers in the game. Regular archers can't do that. That's an upgrade path. There'll be people who later learn rapid guard or rapid aim, so they can get extra actions to do that. Snakes and acrobats get extra get up actions, so they can stand up for free if they're knocked down. The snakes can still be knocked down, but they have a free stand up action, so who cares?
Right.
Or the gifts that give you around things, like all out attack, which allows you to attack twice, technically.
So basically, there's a loophole in the game, or a deal in the game, where you use refresh to recharge magic or any other gift in the game. So if I want to be a flying wizard, I would have to choose, do I refresh flight so I don't plummet to my death to the ground?
Correct.
Or do I refresh wizardry, the magic gift, so I can cast another spell? Because a flying wizard is a lot more powerful than a standing wizard.
Yeah.
But that was something that was important to us back in 2006. So there's lots of things in this game that make it a little more complicated and turn. And while I really like it, I can also see how a lot more players will want a lot more immediacy to stuff, because people just want to do shit. They don't want to do your 4th dimensional chess.
I mean, to be fair, I actually really like the way flying is handled in a lot of respects. I like that you can't just like hover, you're kind of always moving. I like that you use sort of range bands to determine height, which I think makes a lot of sense. We had a brief, I brought this up on the Discord channel a while back, because at the time I was trying to understand why fly wasn't just an action, right? And then that just takes one of your actions and you're free with one more. But then I understood later that you're right. What you mentioned about the refresh thing is that while you're flying, you cannot refresh things, essentially, if you want to stay in the air. And that limits you in a lot of other ways. So it makes sense.
We were trying to... Flight's a very powerful ability, unless it isn't. I mean, if you're not playing with a map and you're not worrying about details of who's standing where, it's not that powerful. But, like if you played think about how powerful no clip is in a video game. Flight makes a lot of environmental challenges trivial.
Truly, yeah.
But we didn't want to tell people no, because this is a game about, playing bats or birds, and you should be allowed to do those things. So we wanted to come up with a way. In later games like Urban Jungle, we just said, screw it. Flight is, if you take the run action, you can also move 3D, which meant you couldn't attack while flying, but it made the game a lot simpler, because a lot of the nuances that I think this has, once again, it's like, if not everybody here came for a tactical war game, then it makes tactical sense, but what if you're not here for the tactics?
Correct. Yeah. I actually don't know a lot about Urban Jungle. I don't want to derail us for too long, but I don't know how much of a combat-oriented game that is. It looks really cool, but again, I've only really just...
Well, it's deliberately not, because with Urban Jungle, Ironclaw is everyone came to fight, and there's a whole bunch of fighting rules in the book. So much so there's entire pages devoted to veteran or resolve or sharpshooter. All these crazy combat abilities. Urban Jungle has combat abilities in it, but also specifically, we wanted to do urban fantasy. So,
right,
because I'm always I guess, the bag of hammers theory of it. It's like if a role-playing game, like if you go to play Dungeons and Dragons and they say D&D is not a combat game, by the way, here's 400 pages of combat and an entire book devoted to killing things. It's like, you can do other things with it, but it's kind of misleading, to say that when the book has 600 pages. So Urban Jungle deliberately had less of that, but like I won't tell people Ironclaw is not a combat game. We like combat. We read Redwall. Redwall's awesome. Game of Thrones is awesome.
Yeah.
What if Redwall and Game of Thrones at the same time? Awesome.
What if? I mean, I'm loving it, and I like that the combat is very crunchy. It's tactical. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm loving it.
Well, I'm appreciating that. So yeah,
it's crunchy, but it's simple to parse.
Yeah.
Once you understand how the
so it's a little tricky. So, but are we back? We're
back. Let's do this because
all right,
could talk games all day. All right, you guys made it to the sleepy village of Mage Cross. You arrive sort of later in the day. It's coming up on evening now, and this village is it doesn't have a whole lot to recommend it, especially as you guys just came from Triskellion, sort of the metropolitan center of the world as far as any of you are concerned. This is a standard village, a nice looking one at that, but you can see that there are common folk milling around, wrapping up their work day, closing up shops. Some of them are carting their goods from the farms back to town. And as you step inside, as you step over the threshold, there's only a handful of buildings that look to be illuminated from within that seem like they're just getting ready to start their business day, essentially. One of which is the largest building in the town, is a tavern. Has a nice gentle glow coming from within it. But besides that, you spot the standard fare. There's a stable with several dinosaurs essentially tied up there. Yeah. There's a small shack lean-to that looks to be a blacksmithing area, shop, blacksmith. And any other basic standard fare that you would find in a town of this size. Population of around maybe 100 people.
Is this picture that you have here supposed to be typical of the town?
Maybe flavor more than actually what it looks like.
Yeah, because these guys got an Attack on Titan wall here.
Yeah, just... Oh, yeah.
Well, they seem remarkably open and casual for a place that's under a siege by bandits and monsters and is about to be wiped off the earth.
That was very true. We should talk to some people.
They may not know. Who would bother telling them about it?
Well, call us the bad deliverers of bad news, because we're here to tell them.
Well, we're also here to ask them and try to find answers. So I think the best place to start would be to go into the tavern and introduce ourselves to people.
Are you kidding? We have a noble. You can go straight to the mayor's office.
Yeah.
Oh, right. We actually have some authority. I am not used to that.
We have a letter from the freaking Pope. That was the Pope we talked about.
Not something
right?
I'm used to.
Wait, that was the Pope. Was that the Pope or just the bishop?
Archbishop. It's not the top of the pile.
Why can't we get orders from someone infallible?
So yeah, there is. If you ask around, you can be directed to the mayor's office if that's where you'd like to start.
Yes, please.
Perfect.
If it's a smart town, they'll have the mayor's office will be the tavern. The Germans do everything smart.
Oh, that is good. That is classy.
No, that's serious. Like the beer garden will be underneath the town hall.
Hey man, you're gonna have meetings there all the time. You might not be far away from a tap.
You can get your ordinance passed a lot faster if you just pass out more of the beer. But that's more of a Doloro country thing.
Yeah.
People down here don't know how to live.
No. All right. So, okay, you enter the mayor's rather humble estate. He does have an office with a desk where he could take, I don't know, it's piled high with papers. The mayor himself is a badger male. He looks to be later middle age with a world weary disposition. As you step inside, he's rubbing his temple as he's looking at this large stack of papers in front of him. But when he notices you, he puts a smile on his face and he says, "Ah, travelers, welcome to Mage Cross. How may I help you?"
Actually, it would be us who are here to help you, my goodman.
Ah, is that so, sir? And I imagine at this point he recognizes that Connor is nobility, and he gets up and sort of hurries around to the front of the desk.
Well, he is wearing a suit of armor that's well over 1,000 denarii in price, so yes.
Well, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Does Connor display his colors?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Okay. So, the badger stammers out, sirs. Well, yes, please call me Calloway. I am the humble mayor of this town. What is it you wish to help us with?
Well, Calloway, I am Connor Laverdec Levis, and we've heard that you have some problems with banditry and lawlessness in your border. Well, not in your borders, but in the surrounding area. We've come to solve this problem for you.
Oh, excellent. Good. So you come from Triskellion then, likely.
Yes.
Well, you know, sir, perhaps the rumors have been exaggerated. We here in town, we feel perfectly safe. We have no bandits present. It is true that there are those who have been attacked along the forest road. Most here seem to think that it is the work of haunted spirits. I'm not sure I believe in such things, but I can say that no trouble has befallen us here in Mage Cross. We're quite safe, and so too will you be should you decide to patronize our tavern.
Well then, you would be surprised to hear what our messenger has to say about our king's plans for your village. The bird. Oh, not the bat. I'm sorry. Out of character. That was out of character.
Yeah, well, no also, if you want me to read the proclamation, I can't actually read.
That's, yeah, right? Maybe someone
he wouldn't have said that. He would have just read the proclamation
himself. I would hand that to you, and you could read the proclamation about the destruction of your entire town.
Oh, dear. His face goes from interested to concerned to downright distraught as he finishes the letter, and when he hands it back to you, his hand is shaking a little bit. He says, "This is grave news indeed. You said you could help?"
Yes, we're here to root out this Tassobianco and hopefully save your village from our king's ire.
All right. He looks like he's doing math in his head. And he says, "I would help you if I could, gentlemen, sir. I do not know of this Tassobianco. However, I know that, well, there are all kinds of rumors that pass around town. Perhaps if you asked some of the townsfolk, they could help you. You should start by visiting the tavern. The proprietor there, Nadia, she hears all the gossip that comes through town. And you should talk to the good sir." He scratches his head for a moment. We recently, not a day past, had an injured party come in through town. A noble man, a bat, in fact.
I see.
Yes, it seems that he had been attacked on the road. It was only by good luck that a hermit who lives nearby, the village witch of sorts, managed to find him before the bandits could finish their work. He's staying now in the tavern. Perhaps if he is in mood to converse with you, he could shed some light on the situation.
I'm sure he'll speak to us. Thank you. And what of your reeves? Do they know of any activity on the outskirts that might be of interest to us?
I'm going to ask for a roll quickly here. I believe it's going to be... let's see. Sense motive. It's going to be mind and inquiry.
Hey, I will assist on that.
Thank you.
All right.
Unless you'd rather me lead it.
Please assist.
Okay. Bam, get your D12.
Nice.
Yeah, Griffin's character's a team player, so get used to him assisting everyone on everything.
Yep.
There you go.
Hey, look, the same roll. Good job.
Okay. I'm going to say that I'm a little scatterbrained today, and I appreciate the team spirit. Going forward, Griffin, I am going to ask you in what capacity you're helping in a situation like this. I'm not really sure.
Right,
how
I
to
just didn't
observe.
want to interrupt the flow of thing, but I do have a large series of questions I'm interested in asking.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I'm
cool.
interested in pressing the issue. How could you not notice that there are bandits around? Weren't you receiving a shipment today? And of course, I was going to ask about the person who went missing, but he just told us about it, so that was not necessary.
And yeah, I mean, the mayor would give us audience because we are literate people who came with a warrant. So I assume the mayor would listen. Me, on the other hand, maybe not.
Right.
So, as you're waiting for a response, you see that this badger Calloway he's rubbing his hands, and he's not making eye contact with any of you. He's sort of like looking off to the left. He says that there's the few town guard that we have here to defend ourselves, mostly from roving beasts. The occasional pickpocket will try to roll through town, but nothing of the sort. Nothing like a bandit or an outlaw of the degree of one Tassobianco has ever stepped foot in town.
Would that be because they're already being aided by people that live here?
Sir, I don't know what you're talking about. We're simple folk. No one here would be entangled in such treasonous activities, I assure you.
Very well.
Of course, we do have your full permission and authority, as I understand it.
Of course, and I will cooperate in any way that I can.
Excellent. Then I believe we have a series of conversations we need to have with people. I believe, Father, I believe our nobleman might actually need your assistance. The one that was injured and came here.
Yes. Currently, Nadia is looking after him at the tavern. She's quite good with these things. She thinks that he's going to be fine with a few days of rest and recuperation.
I see. We should definitely seek to talk to him first.
Very good. He does not seem to appreciate visitations, but of course you are here on the king's business, so it should be fine.
When you say that he does not appreciate visitations, in what respect?
Oh, well, it is not for me to speak out of turn about nobility. Obviously, he has been through a trying time.
Let's not do that then.
Sorry.
Let's
yes.
not.
No. Of course. He does not appreciate visitors. Is all I mean. As we, Nadia has managed to get him some food, but other than that, he does not appreciate people coming up to his room unannounced, I suppose.
In that case, I shall hire a herald.
Surely.
I mean, you could just hire Griffin. Griffin can be a herald.
Oh, look at that. Suddenly I have a new profession in life. I could go and announce ourselves.
Well, you have academics, right?
I mean, by the strictest of sense,
No.
you are already a herald, Anushka.
But I'll
No,
do
I
it.
can't. I mean, I also can be a herald because I can, in theory, announce your arrival before you show up.
Well, you deliver a message of arrival. You are a messenger, are you not?
That's also true. Well, no, a herald is supposed to be an escort that comes with you to properly announce. And also, a herald is also supposed to recognize other people, which I can't really do because I don't know coats of arms or etiquette.
I mean, you traveled here with Connor.
Oh, well, I can announce him, sure. Do you want? But we kind of have this warrant, which is a letter of recommendation that also announces us, so we can just go in because we have authority from. Well, it's from the Archbishop, so it's a letter of recommendation. It's not from the Pope.
So, if I were to say, like, this conversation with the mayor is concluded and we've said our goodbyes, and we want to go talk with this guy, I do have a plan for how we're going to introduce ourselves.
Okay.
I will go up and knock loudly and say, "We know you're in there. Open up."
Are we in the Archbishop's diocese?
You're gonna have to define what that means.
Okay, so
The territory that he's in charge of.
The territory that he's in charge of.
Right.
On behalf of the church.
Because he's an archbishop.
Yeah.
Which
so
means,
he looks over regions of other bishops, right?
There's 4 archbishops.
Well,
right?
Technically there are 4 archbishops, which means if this area is Rinaldi domain, if that was the archbishop of Rinaldi domain, then we're in his jurisdiction. Which means we have a papal letter. So we have a letter from not the pontiff, but the archbishop, who says that under church authority, they're here to investigate the monsters. By the way, if you don't let us deal with this, the king is going to raise your village. And the mayor just told us, I don't know if, we really should be disturbing people about this. And it's like, do you understand who we are and what's going on? He's hiding something. I don't like it.
It'd be a stupid question, but I feel like it needs to be brought up now since all this falls really in knowledge that I should already know, but I've forgotten if I've read it. Which of the archbishops is the current pontiff?
Because of the 4 archbishops, there's a Holy See, and they appoint one of them. It's
As
not
the
specified in the Ironclaw book because that's left open to the GM.
Mm-hmm. The way that I'm interpreting it, is that specifically. So I wanted someone who would be basically like the liaison to the king, because I believe that the church has to have some sort of like relationship to the king, and at the same time be separate from them. Right, to some degree. And I wanted to choose a rank that was not necessarily like the top of the pile, because they would not want it to appear that the king was like, the church was sort of like reporting to the king.
Well, by choosing an archbishop, you've chosen one step below the primus inter pares, which is, the chief among equals.
But that makes sense. Because if we picked anyone else, they would just be able to throw us away because you have no authority here. We have dubious authority. The church only has authority over supernatural matters, but it could be argued that we don't have any proof. In fact, this is Tassobianco is the likely culprit, who is very much a mundane person. The church's authority to arrest them is dubious at best. But we're really here because we also have a letter. I mean, we didn't write it, but we have a letter that says, if you don't stop this, predation upon the roads, the king will remove your city. Which is also a dubious question, but they're the king, so when they say jump, you're supposed to say how high. Oh. So the fact that these guys might be blowing us off implies that, because once again, this town might actually be buddy-buddy with the bandits. Bandits never run out of money.
Well, just to take a step back a second, though, my question was actually the question to be answered. I was hoping. Which of the archbishops is the pontiff at the moment?
Oh,
You don't
I'll have to get back
name
to you.
them, just specifically.
Yeah,
Is it a Doloro? Is it a Rinaldi? Is it a Avdupa? Is it a...
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, my advice is you say the Doloro because the Doloro one usually gets appointed as pontiff in our histories because they're the least because the Doloro lands are totally pagan, and so they get voted in by default because they have the least interest, which is a cynical commentary.
Very interesting, but I like it because it does make sense politically. So let's go with that. So the Doloro is currently the pontiff, the top of the pile there.
Got it.
Yeah. So, but on the other hand, I mean, we're technically in the Archbishop's territory, but our claim here is dubious because if it's not really supernatural monsters, they could refuse audience with us. I mean, but then again, it's also like one thing I always like to point out is like what the law says and what we actually do might not actually be the same thing.
It's true.
So then, what's
where the
plan?
rubber meets the road. The one other thing I want to point out, though, before we get too far away from it, is because I don't think it was exactly clear, and this falls into the kind of information that I think your characters would pick up on, even if I didn't make it clear as the GM. But in the case of disturbing this individual, this noble, this guy, Calloway, he's a mook. He's a commoner, right? Everyone in this town, for the most part, are commoners, and so if this guy doesn't want people, harassing him, they don't really have a lot of power to enforce that, unless there's particularly uppity commoners who aren't afraid of the repercussions of a noble who could just have them killed if they felt like it, right?
That's why I was asking before, because I was trying to determine on
noble.
what basis that he didn't want to be disturbed, if it was a professional level or trying to read into it like, hey, did the person you have treating them say that he's like suffering delusions or he's paranoid or any of the reasons why he wouldn't want to be disturbed?
Right, yeah. So he says it's on the basis of him just being a cranky jerk, essentially. It's not, he doesn't seem to have any kind of other reason for keeping people out other than he's just cranky, I guess.
All right, so let's fast forward back to where Gaston is banging loudly on his door, apparently.
Yep. All right. And Gaston, why don't you give me the line read again?
We know you're in there. Open up. You have a letter from the Archbishop.
You hear from the other side of the door a voice say, "Go away! I won't have any more of you dirty folk harassing me. At all hours of the day, I'm trying to rest. Get out of here!"
So help me God, the king himself will come here and burn your bed down if you don't open up this door.
Peace, peace, my friends.
Good
sir.
Wait. Fine. You take that.
You want me to announce you, Connor?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry. I say your full name, which I haven't written here on the overlay because it's too long.
Sorry. Conrad Levera de Ecrevis.
No, I'm saying that I say your full name to you when I address you.
All right, so you're announced. There's a moment of silence. The voice behind the door says, "Oh, so you finally brought me someone worth speaking to, yes? You may come in, the door is unlocked."
He'll open the door. You'll pardon my friend here. He has some zeal for this work.
Sitting propped up in bed, you see there is a bat of noble upbringing. He has one wing bandaged, and he looks at you. He looks you up and down, Connor, and he says, "Oh, I can't tell you how wonderful it is to see another man of fine birth and breeding. Please save me from this godforsaken town."
That's what we're here to do, good sir. So, we heard you were attacked on the road. Where were you headed, and what road were you on?
Well, I was on the I was on the Via Salutis. We were just leaving this dirty place on our way to Three Corners. Perhaps an hour or two out of town, in that godforsaken wood, when bandits descended upon us from all sides, and something else, something large. Well, leaving it to my men, I decided to stay within the carriage. I didn't see much of what went on, but well, as you can see, I was the only one who made it out alive. Retribution will be had, though, I can assure you that. And to this, he seems to be addressing everyone else in the room, with the exception of Connor.
Could you tell us more about your assailants? What did you see? What happened precisely?
Well, there was first a thud. I heard an arrow collide with the side of my carriage, and then shouting from my men, they fanned out, and then a hail of arrows from all directions. Luckily none of them made it through, but I could hear the clashing of swords. My men are the finest trained bodyguards that we have in Harrogate. But one by one, I heard their dying screams. And then something large and impressive, slammed itself against the side of the carriage. I was thrown. I found myself on the ground outside, and then there he was, standing like a demon, like a ghost, surrounded by his posse of cretins. I surely thought I was done for. And at this, the nobleman, he grabs his wounded wing and he rubs it contemplatively.
I see.
And then precisely how did you escape?
Well,
What then?
As the monster, Tassobianco. For it was him, I guarantee it. He stalked towards me. I couldn't see his face behind the mask he wore, but I knew it was him by the way the others showed him deference. He stabbed me, as you can see here, and he gestures to the wing. He was taunting me. I told him to end it quick, but no, he wanted me for his sport, it seems. And then, a moment, his blade hesitated. It seemed as though he had heard something in the distance. He and his men, they fled, leaving me there. And less than a minute later, this old crone comes, hobbling down the road with a pack mule and pack animal and a cart. She helped me up, brought me back to this godforsaken town, where I was sure I would die, were it not for the intervention of you, good sir. I'm sorry I did not get your name. No, he did get his name because you announced it. Sir Connor, was it?
Yes. It's a pleasure to meet you. And we will do our best to make the road safe for your return home.
Aye, the sooner the better. They're trying to kill me with the terrible food, and they're nagging.
And the person who rescued you, you have their name? You know where they're from?
I thought I was dying. I don't know her name. They told me that she's a hag of sorts who lives just at the edge of town, some sort of medicine woman or witch. I'm sure if you asked Nadia downstairs, she could direct you to her. She seems that irritable woman seems to know everyone here in town. But no, during our journey, I just bled, and she just chuckled to herself, and that was the extent of our conversation.
I see. Hopefully we can get some more out of her. Let's see. I guess from what we know of Tassobianco, who he is, what he looks like, and how he's described everything that's happened, the story is more or less solid, isn't it?
Seems so.
He apparently exists, and witnesses have seen him. Plus, also, no offense to Connor, but people hating the nobility is a thing.
Oh, but of course.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that would explain why they didn't take very much. They left in a hurry. They didn't really return.
Right.
Mhm.
Or
Right.
why not kidnap him and take him for ransom? That's also, I mean, because that's a very popular thing. Nobles are often rich. Yeah, that's weird.
I believe then this old lady may have more answers. Exactly.
Yeah, they would have to have a reason not to kill him or kidnap him, and that's weird. I mean, the squirrels might know something. Yeah, the squirrels might know something, but unfortunately, they'd rather kill us.
I guess, what were the species of your assailants, of the other bandits?
Oh, well, mostly they were squirrels, a few raccoons I think I saw. I'm not sure what Tasso was. He like I said, he wore a mask and a hood. Nothing
Mhm.
too tall though.
I see. Okay. In that case, perhaps we should speak to this woman outside of town. She might know more about these bandits if they happen to be frightened of her already.
Is that the party consensus?
I do what the
Yes.
I do what the nobles say.
We'll return for you later. We do have a carriage, and we can bring you back to Triskellion when we decide to leave as well.
Oh, bless you, sir. Thank you. Oh, and if you happen to come across any edible-looking food, you could send some my way. I would be eternally grateful.
I'll leave that up to Connor.
Actually,
Surely you can pick something out.
Connor has meat rations, but those are probably not as good as what he's looking for. So, right.
And of course, giving him trail jerky isn't going to help either.
Exactly. I hadn't been thinking that through.
It's quality trail jerky. Look, we got the one with spices on it. It's
But
not
that
just
doesn't
shoe
mean-
leather.
How many days did we spend? Yeah, how many days did we spend on this journey so I know how much to subtract from my sheet?
Right. It was 3 days to get here from
And they
Triskellion.
did pay for food to get us here, so.
Yeah, so don't worry about deducting any money.
Oh, okay.
But if you're tracking rations, I like that. But honestly, I didn't know a lot of how you guys wanted to play. Some people like having a very detailed inventory. Other people can't be bothered. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what? I really like it.
We won't have to worry.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I guess consensus is let's go talk to the old lady.
Yes, indeed.
Nadia can tell us where she is, and yeah.
Yeah, we can take on the lady, right?
Certainly. Especially if she's a bird, her bones will be twice as brittle.
Ah, yes, that weird Jakoba woman outside town.
Oh yeah. Well, no. So you guys, you make your way down to the tavern. It's a little more full than when you first passed through here. There's a bard, a coyote bard playing a jaunty tune. Several of the town's patrons seem to be getting their drink on and are already pretty well along. And at the bar, Nadia is sort of a rotund raccoon. And when you come down, she asks you, "Would he see you? I do not wish to speak ill of my betters, but that bat is difficult.
It's very true, but yet he's given us helpful answers nonetheless.
Oh, well, good. Glad to hear it. Is there anything that I can get you, sirs?
When we spoke to him, he spoke of an old woman who lived outside of town, some sort of hermit. You would know of them, wouldn't you?
Yes. Gertie. She's an old shrew, she's a healer, essentially. She's a little, maybe not all there, but she does help the town when she can, so, yes, I'll run food out to her every so often as a general thank you. You can find her if you just head west, before the road picks back up. She has a little cottage out there. And she seems that she's up all hours of the night, so I imagine you wouldn't be disturbing her.